Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you again to another exciting time, knowledge sharing about facility management and about our careers and the lives of professionals. We have a lot to learn, and what I've been trying to do over the years is give back as much as possible, accommodate many people um, in the series of free learning opportunities. I'm very grateful and thankful to all of you who make out time to join us here every Thursday to participate in these sessions. And I hope we're able to make it worth your while. My name is Paul Erubami, the MD of Max-Migold Limited. I'm a facility manager by profession, and some of the things we're going to talk about today will reflect that understanding of what the professional skill is. And in today's session, we are continuing with our uh, series on workplace productivity. In today's session, we'll be looking specifically at competencies. So everything that has to do with knowledge, skills, abilities, competencies, and the ones that are critical for facility management, we'll be looking at in today's session. Before we start, I would just like to remind everyone that finally, on Monday, the 3rd of February, we'll be starting the FMMC 23, the batch of our highly acclaimed, notoriously successful facility management master craft diploma. It's the first for 2025, and we hope to have two more. So for those who are not able to join the February 3rd session, don't lose it yet. Don't give up on yourself. There's still more opportunities coming up. For those who want to take advantage of the special offer I gave last week, you still have till tomorrow to grab the 100,000 naira that I offered to you for full payment. So if you're still there thinking whether you need this or not, please do it now. Very important. Okay. Um, and I'm sure you will, appreciate that decision you took to be part of the program. If you go to our YouTube page, Max-Migold channel on YouTube, you'll find a lot of our training content. You'll find all of our free training sessions that we have here. Um, you'll be able to engage with our content. And something else we do for the live audience when we are having any um, online session, every session will make it available across, not just YouTube but also Facebook. So wherever you find yourself online, if you're subscribed to Max-Migold, you'll have a pop-up to be able to join our session. So you're welcome. So don't forget, today, tomorrow is still open to take advantage of my special 100,000 naira discount. Okay. All right. So let's talk competencies in facility management. The skills and expertise that you need that will empower you to lead with efficiency, adaptability, and innovation, ensuring sustainable and thriving environment. I've always said this, the entire built environment, there is several professions that make up the built environment, from town planners to design architecture to the consultants, the engineers, builders, general contractors, developers, investors, venture capitalists, and all. They put in place these investments, these efforts, these properties, and at the end of the day, it's all handed over to facility managers to manage. We are the custodians of the built environment. We are the reason why the environment gets built. As facility managers, we are supposed to come from a standpoint of understanding why. For every property that is built, why? For every need for space and services, why? Every company that makes an investment in any uh, uh, development, there has to be a reason. It is that superior vantage point of understanding why these, uh, you know, installations and investments are made that we move on to manage them. So that's why we always talk about strategic considerations, principles, processes for developing long-term strategies based on the ultimate reason for that property being, put in place. And when we move on to start managing facilities, we now realize that every facility is built for people, because of people, for the enjoyment, benefits, functionality, productivity of people. So that's at that level, we know that we're not just here to deal with buildings. We're here to manage the people who use the building, who progress, well-being, safety, security, advancement, productivity, and all depends on how they interact with the building. So our job as facility manager is to understand the corporate why, the user, what does it do here? What is it trying to achieve as a group, as a team, as an individual? And then translate that into how we manage a facility to ensure that we provide the right services, the right equipment, the right resources, the right spaces, the right utility in the right quantity and time for the users to achieve what they want to achieve and ultimately provide the results that fulfills why the corporates invested in those properties in the first place. Okay, so to get to put all of this in place, we have to elevate ourselves from a standpoint of um, rote remembrance or knowledge of how things are done. We have to uh, translate our understanding of corporate strategy, people needs and expectation to how we deliver our facilities, services, and the spaces that we use to support them in their path to their mission and vision. So you need to be able to understand the essential skills that you need to excel in facility management. I meet people every day who found themselves in facility management. It is the point at which they decide that they want to excel in facility management that they will begin to look for this kind of training opportunities. They begin to look for, the kind of support, the kind of mentorship that comes with training. Um, if you are not yet, if you've not yet made up your mind that this facility management that you find yourself in is a profession that you want to, um, you want to dwell in, you want to grow in, you want to, be known for, you want to succeed in, you will not need the session I'm going to have. But I know you are here because you want to excel, you want to grow. And so the key skills that you will need: leadership, communication and stakeholder management, technical skills, in maintenance, energy efficiency and energy management, technology integration. You spend money all the time. You must understand how money thinks. You must understand what makes money move. If you don't, you'll always be at the beginning end of money and you will not get it. You will not achieve the things you want to get done because you are not able to communicate the value that you deliver in exchange for the money you are looking for. So all those budgets, cost control, contracting, and so and assets, optimization all tie in here. You must know how to give value. And then coming to the people that use the facility at the what level, we're talking about safety, sustainability, risk management, compliance with statutory requirements, and so on and so forth. And then as we move on in this, from one era to the next, just 30, 40 years ago, there was not much about facility management. I will put this in context. Just yesterday, the International Facility Management Association sent out an email to all of us, all those of us who have earned the Facility Management Professional FMP designation, to say, hooray, the 20,000th professional just earned this FMP. Think about it. The FMP is the professional globally. If you want to add on that, you can get the Sustainability Facility Professional from IFMA. And if you want to add on that, the Ultimate Certified Facility Manager. The number of people who have taken the FFP and the CFM are a lot fewer than those who have taken the FFP, because the FFP is general knowledge that covers 4 of the 11 key competencies. Now, what's my point here? 20,000 professionals worldwide. It tells you a few things. One, the FM profession is far from being saturated. Very, very, very far. If that number was 500,000 who have earned a professional credential in facility management worldwide, I will still tell you that it's still pioneering. So FM is a young profession. Now, how do you connect that with the kind of opportunities available for professionals? Think about the scale of developments all around you, especially if you live in Lagos or in some of the major cities like Abuja and Port Harcourt. You see sprawling estates, commercial properties, industrial complexes rolling out everywhere. Developments that have never seen Nigeria. This is globally, but even higher in developing economies like Nigeria. So, if you're a facility manager today and you start acquiring the competencies, your opportunities will only get bigger, because it is as you come in, you gain the competencies through training, you gain experience, and you move up. Others come under, right? So it is a first come, first serve situation for how you rise to the big pay, to the big opportunities. But it is not automatic for everybody. In Max-Migold, we've taken about 1,000 people through the Facility Management Mastercraft Diploma. And so we can tell you that if it is the basic things around job placements, becoming gainfully employed, we achieve 98% within 6 months of you completing the program, historically. So when we are looking for interns, we normally have just a handful, unlike before when we used to have them in hundreds. Because before they finish the program, they've already applied, they've gotten the job, so they cannot speak the language, they cannot demonstrate that they can get things done. So they move on. So point is, the opportunity is expanding because the scale of development is higher. So as more buildings are coming, they need to be managed. The old buildings in stock also need to be managed. So huge opportunity. Thirdly, organizations are beginning to realize the value of facility management. A few years ago, you will not see a vacancy for facility manager in Nigeria, even as recent as 95, 2000. You will hear of admin, internal services, corporate services, all kinds of position of logistics. They'll call all kinds, even people, HR used to be, something that's a function that handles the built environment for organizations. Organizations are not specifically going out to look for facility managers. It's now listed as a profession that needs to be filled. Universities globally are now beginning to offer whole degrees, 4-year degrees. In Nigeria, a few master's degrees in facility management. So the opportunities are expanded. There's corporate recognition, there's government recognition, and professionals in the built environment are being taught facility management while they are still in school. So when they come out, they are aware of who the ultimate custodians are, and they have a choice to make whether to take a position in facility management. So whether you're coming out as an engineer, whatever class of engineer from electrical, mechanical, civil, structural, metallurgical, whatever engineering you're studying, even computer and IT engineering, you still have a chance to learn facility management and take a stake as one of the custodians of the built environment. And finally, when it comes to the investments that go into the built environment, all other professions in the built environment will share about 20% of the money that goes into the built environment, because that's where they all play. Design it, plan it, design it, build it, and run transactions around who buys, who leases. But the facility manager is the one that's going to run it from stage to stage, from point to point, throughout his useful life. All that investment in people that are going to manage it, maintain it, clean it, secure it, health and safety is all facility management. All that investment in the energy and the equipment, all the assets fitted, refurbished, renewed, they're all facility management. So in essence, we are holding on to 80% of the value or the investment that goes into the built environment. So don't take your facility management career for granted, and don't waste time in trying to acquire the competencies and skills that will help you stand out, because there's a very, very low barrier to entry. Anybody can walk out of anywhere, walk out of your farm, walk out of your catering business, walk out of your banking business, walk out of any business you were doing and say, I have changed my mind, I'm not a facility manager. Nobody's going to stop you. There's nothing that's going to differentiate the trained, competent one from you at that point. It is at the point of service delivery. Men are usually separated. Someone who's stuck in the ruts, a job that's not paying well, opportunities that he's not getting in life. Ask what he has acquired, how well he has developed himself. So some of the things that you can do, that you will need to do to build yourself, are what we'll be talking about in this session. Okay, so let's talk about competencies. I've been previous classes help you understand what the difference between a discipline and a profession is. A discipline is what you learn. So if I study engineering, then I have engineering as a discipline. A profession is what I do that I get paid for. So with my engineering discipline, be in engineering profession or engineering design, I can be in construction, I can be in facility management. These are the things we do with our discipline. Those are professions. And so for uh, skills and competencies are learned from the two sides, right? So you learn them through study from your discipline, and then also through application by doing your profession. Okay, so when we talk about a competence, stretching from that, it is a combination of learning and skills, right? So when I learn, I apply, then I can demonstrate that I have that competence. So in essence, and this is very interesting and important, you cannot claim a competence that you have not practiced. You can claim that you have studied how to become a project manager or project management. You've acquired that learning. You've acquired it. But until you actually use it to deliver on projects, that learning has not become a competence. From that learning, I acquired a skill. From practice, I convert that skill to competence. And that is why when I look at uh, CVs, resumes that people, and they make all this list of, oh, I am this, I am that, I know this, I know that. I just look at it and I said, pick words from the dictionary and you want to impress me with that. I'm not impressed. But there's a way to prove competence. And that is, instead of allowing I am a good project manager to be a sentence in your CV that drops there, complete it into a competence by using what we call a power statement. I'm a good project manager who can achieve so and so percentage of this and that of all the project parameters. For example, in my role as facility manager for that, I did the so and so projects. Now, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to complete that I know skill to competence proof that I've practiced. You really don't need to have too many of these in a profession. So today in this session, I'm going to talk us through some of the competencies, technical competencies, leadership competencies, then sustainability and technology aspects of the competencies we need in becoming successful facility managers. So if I have those competencies, I also need to work towards improving them, enhancing them on an ongoing basis. Reason is your competence in a particular aspect or area today can become outdated tomorrow because of the shifting needs of your end users, because of the changing trends of the environment, of the economy, of the end user taste and preferences, of the financial and technological impacts that makes those changes. When those things happen, you need to keep, stay ahead of the curve, keep sharpening your competence by one, learning new ways to do the things you do. Of course, first, learning the changing tastes and desires and demands of your end users, and learning new ways to keep doing the things that meet their needs, all right, as well as investing in opportunities to practice doing. It's not just enough to learn, but you must also learn to do. If we start from a strategic point of view, it will be very easy to get almost everything right. Every decision that we take will align with corporate strategy on an ongoing basis. Every action, every step we take will lead to more optimized use of resources, cutting out of wastage. We'll have more and more of what our organizations need and less of what it doesn't need. Value streams. And then we will be able to focus on people, listen for needs and expectations, and fulfill in a way that aligns with needs and expectations. That is where facility management should be. Okay, so the competence of managing assets, maintaining assets, physical assets, I think that is where we have always been known for. Oh, the facility managers, they are maintenance people, that's what we've always been known for. But many people come into this profession as maintenance people without even moving themselves to learn about maintenance strategies. How maintenance processes, procedures, and activities interact with the cost that goes into it. So when you hear an organization telling you, oh, no, sorry, we cannot implement that maintenance program, you say, oh, you invested so much on this asset and you're going to let it run down. But you see, you have not been able to create a synergy between maintenance activities, from the strategy to the tactical and operational activities you plan, and the value you are going to give in terms of, what we call in facility management reliability-centered maintenance, a strategy, a philosophy that insists that for a whole portfolio, you will maintain it at the lowest practicable cost and ensure reliability at the optimal level that will give the organization what they need. In essence, I don't want to under-maintain. I don't want to over-maintain. And there are technologies you can adopt. Very simple ones like automating spreadsheets and using QR code to gather information and updating information back on spreadsheets using a scan and updates using forms, automated forms, to softwares and all the other things we're talking about. So asset management today has moved from the bolts and nuts. It's now a data-focused field. There's space. Properties that you manage cost money. Every square meter costs money. Is it enough to just know how to maintain the space and the equipment in it? Or do you understand what the cost per square meter of everything around you is, so that you can know when you are bringing value from the things you are doing and when you are creating waste? if you are able to understand where your organization is going, how the organization is evolving in this, day and age, you will also be able to create space management strategies, solutions that adapt to the trends of the times. So the era of one man, one desk, whether he's there or not, you have to think it again. If you do space utilization calculations, you probably see so many of those spaces are just languishing, idling, because they've been locked up for one person who is in the field most of the time. If you think about the individual's well-being and the spaces where they work, can you figure out economic ways to, adjustments to improve economy, for example, adjustments to improve well-being, adjustments to improve oxygen flow and level of concentration to be more productive? Can you make adjustments to create additional different types of swing spaces with different features that can create both visual and mental relaxation, that just moving from one point to another, having breakout rooms, having telephone booths to reduce conversation, noise, and so on and so forth, having printer room that, does not share the noise or distribute that noise across the entire. There's so much you can do as an FM to evolve space planning, at least as a basic, ensure that your spaces meet the minimum statutory or regulatory requirement. Fire safety, audits done, certification obtained. Sewage, environmental certification. There are so many of those basic compliance that you just need to ensure that they are in place, so that you will not be doing something illegal when you are superintending or managing a space where people are occupied that does not meet the requirements of the building code. Sustainability and energy efficiency. I don't need to spend too much time on this as processing managers. You see your bills, you know your costs. You know how your organizations are basically folding under the cost of energy. We're not talking about the elitist status that comes out of being a sustainable, net zero, low carbon footprint company or organization. That's nice to have. We'll get there at some point. At the level we are in most of our organizations, SMEs and most medium-sized organizations, there's a lot to do in the area of sustainability and energy efficiency, just to help us stay afloat, save us money, save us inconvenience, give us a reputable presentation of ourselves to the public, and therefore boost our business. So energy saving, cutting out waste, investing in low carbon emission equipment and solutions. And then, of course, compliance to laws and regulations that govern energy management in our facilities. The facility manager of today must embrace technology. When we talk about Internet of Things, many facility managers are still wondering what this means. Many facility managers are still going to the markets and buying electrical systems that are not IoT enabled. What is Internet of Things? Your devices that you use being able to connect individually to the internet and communicate with each other. That is it. So break it down to the level of a facility manager who is just trying to understand IoT for facility management. You have an office to upgrade, to renovate. And you're going to change out lights. You're going to change out sockets and switches. You're going to take out the distribution board, and put a new one. Or you're doing this for a residential, you're going to take out the cooker unit, you're going to take out the electrical systems and many other things from the building. You're going to replace them. Most people will still go for like, the old way of doing those renovations. Go and buy the sockets in the market, go and buy them, go and do it. Whereas there are sockets that are Wi-Fi enabled. There are switches that are Wi-Fi enabled. There are smart distribution boards that come pre-configured to just auto update into your smart home systems like Google Home, Apple Home, any other home app, where you can remotely interact with them. Not only interact with them, but get them to interact with each other. You know that thing that you see when a motion sensor is connected to a light fitting, and when you come into the space, the light comes on. When you leave, after a while, the light goes off. Many of those are wired together, so the sensor senses and turns wired, but many are wireless now. And they not only communicate with each other, they also communicate with the internet, so that the air conditioner can now know that you're on your way home. And if you want the room to be cool 10 minutes before you get into your living room or into your bedroom, you can now set that up without doing anything. As you are coming, your geolocation, because of your phone that you have with you, of course, we're all cyber these days, right? The phone that you have with you is your locator. It tells those devices through the internet that you are nearby. Air conditioner is common. If I even have food in the microwave and I'm so hungry, I want to eat it when I come back, it will tell it to warm it up and just 500 meters away. Why do we need this? As facility managers, we need to understand that we are not the ones mainly driving these advanced buildings, smart buildings, but we will receive it to manage. We'll have old buildings that would require us to retrofit them with these new systems. And we will have to manage them. Competencies in technology. Come, let's train you. We're not just talking basic software. We're not just talking about alerting you that something is due for maintenance or replacement. No. The buildings have evolved. Building information modeling, IoT systems, and so many data-rich approaches to manage facilities are now everywhere. Most of these sensors are $10, $15, and automation has started. The apps are free. You can download them and be on the cloud, doing your thing in the app, just remotely controlling things. Facility management requires that you have a very strong leadership and communication ability. First reason why you need it is there is hardly anything you do in facility management that you can do on your own. You need a team for everything. There's hardly a solo task in facility management. So you must know how to pick a team, train a team, engage them in work, appraise them, help them improve and get better, and provide results to the customer. You must also know how to manage the expectations of the customers. There are many people who have jumped into FM and they come with that standpoint of, I know my rights. And then they begin to, I know my job, I'm the expert of you're not the expert of your job in facility management. You're supposed to be the expert in the expectations of the customer. When you understand that very clearly and you can interpret it and translate it into the operating procedures you are implementing, then you can now say you know your job. And that's why if you're a good facility manager for Mr. A, you cannot apply the same procedures you apply for Mr. A with a certain Mr. B inside B, because you are supposed to learn the customer and then adapt that learning into the procedures you will deploy. All the way to how you communicate. Not everybody will take communication the same way. So you lead your team, you lead your customers, you manage their expectations. And then you also now need to lead your bosses. Become that person that all the stakeholders that you engage with, from regulators to building users to visitors to your building to your bosses to everybody around you, to co-workers and those under you and the contractors that come to work, let you make yourself the person that they want to go to for anything. You are a reference point. Make yourself the person they trust, that what he says will stand because he will do all he can to fulfill his obligation. Integrity, transparency. You know, if you are proactive in communication, people will have less opportunity to misjudge you, to misunderstand you, to strike at you, to hate you, to give you low rating, to have a negative perception about you. So the FM's job requires your ability to build strong relationships through proactive communication. And this requires that you understand each person in the entire network, all stakeholders, and devise custom communication strategies and approaches with everybody. I know how it is. How, you know, so much work to do. You send an email blast, done. Or you put something in a group, message delivered. Mm-hmm. If you have 100 people in that group and just one or two did not read it, you have not communicated to that one or two. If another 5 or 6 read it, did not acknowledge it or act on it, you have not communicated to that other 5 or 6. In essence, communication is not complete until the original intentions and thoughts of the communicator are received, interpreted correctly, and acted upon by the receptor or the receiver of that communication. That I told you, or that I wrote to you, or that I dropped it for you, does not end communication. What was my original intent? What was my call to action? What would I hope to achieve with that communication? I need to see to the end. So when I hear say things like, I could not reach him, his phone is not going. Usually I'll ask questions like, did you drop him a WhatsApp message? Oh, it was offline. Did you drop him an SMS? Ah, no, I didn't think about that. Did you think of going to visit him? I mean, not everybody will require such a strenuous efforts, but the more you understand what works for each person, the more you know how to customize. So you now know, I've dropped the messages, but I still need to call Mr. James. When coming to work tomorrow, I need to stop at Mrs. Mary's door and say hello and say, Madam, please, I dropped a message, have you seen it? You know, I know James and Mary, they are unique. James probably doesn't want me to come to his gate to come and say hello. He likes me to just drop an emoji or a good morning, and he says, Paul, I know what you're talking about. I know, I remember, I'll do it just for my good morning. Will I remember to act with each person the way they want to be acted upon? To get it right, ladies and gentlemen, you need to be able to harness data. There's so much data around us that we're not taking, we're not using. You see all that knowledge from your experiences that helps you identify and adapt your communication strategy and customize them to different customers. They came out of data that you gleaned, whether consciously or unconsciously. Your mastery of the FM profession comes out of the data that you're able to gather, analyze, make decisions, and apply. Some of us are providing things that we're just providing. We don't know who is using it or who is not. It costs us a lot. And we don't want to do a cost per user. We use everybody. We are 200 in this building. So drinking water we put in water dispenser is 200 divided by 8 million. And you say, oh, I provide drinking water of 4,000 per person per month. Sounds like you're using data. But you need to also know, out of that 200 people, how many people are actually using it? That's diving deep, isn't it? You have a conference hall of 1,000 people. An event is ongoing. Do you know how many people are in the hall right now? Do you know how much energy is consumed when there are 100 over 1,000 or when there are 500 over 1,000 compared to, 1,000 over 1,000, the hall is fully occupied? Data. If you manage a mall, for example, and you see the rate of water use, can you connect it to the footfall? How many people walk into this mall today? Does it correlate with the liters of water that the mall used today? If you create that correlation, at some point you will know when a major pipeline that's feeding, one other or those other buildings in your site is probably broken inside a drainage, trunk or inside some crawl space that nobody would have picked up. There's so much you can do with data, so much, and it is the foundation of everything we do in facility management. So if you don't know how to manage data, there's a problem. People have pushed for, let's change our this to save energy. You don't have data to back it up. Oh, and then when management approves and you now installed, you know how much you spent, but you cannot come back with data to say this is exactly how much we saved because we defined our baseline metrics and this is what we are now since we installed this item. Then you don't even know how much weight of refuse they are collecting. Data, ladies and gentlemen, is a key competence. Data management, data collection, data management, data analysis, decision making based on data. And then costs, budgets, financial management, contract management, everything that has to do with money is at the core of what we do. Because we spend every day, we spend in myriad of ways. We must understand how to plan financially. The money we need to spend for operation, money we need to spend for capital investments need to be laid out sequentially and planned for. Understand life cycle consideration when making financial decisions. Understand the financial impact of capital investments on major projects. And learn how to allocate your resources. Don't wake up after doing something that is less important to realize that you need money for something that is more important. that you did not think about when you were doing that thing that is less important yesterday. That's the height of failure in managing finances. Health, safety, environment, competencies. We are moving away from just the mere basic provision of spaces and services. FM is now more focused on well-being of the individual. So uh, in the past, it's a case of prevent injuries and accidents. But now, it is a total well-being package, including mental health. So we hear of companies that provide counseling, provide health checks, these are all driven by facility management. It's not enough to just give you a table and chair. I need to know whether the table and chair fits your body frame ergonomically. Well-being. Organizations that now offer healthy options in catering provision is out of facility management, drive. So we should move beyond just the basic compliance with no hazard, no risk, no accidents. Of course, we must first, those are the basic, they are baseline. Elevate yourself to that level where you are now at the compliance, care, well-being of the physical body and mental state of the individual. Because think about it, what is your goal? What's the definition of facility management? Our job is to improve the well-being, livelihood of people, and the productivity of the core business. So health and safety requires that you conduct risk analysis, you do inspections, you do audits, you take out, all of those, you identify those risks and issues, and you create an emergency response plan, a business continuity plan, and make sure that you are able to continually capture data relating to tendencies or risk of certain harm occurring. You need them in the board. Let's talk about energy efficiency. Tied up with sustainability, the FMs is able to move the organization to the next level. And I've talked about technology. Most of the things that are, in the future for most professions, even agriculture, construction, facility management, it's mostly technology driven. Talk about IoT, there's AI and machine learning, smart buildings. We're basically turning our old buildings to smart buildings now because of these IoT devices that can just pick up, from shops and install. And then there are sustainability innovations, renewable energy that are coming, green, solutions for energy, renewable, beyond renewable, where you can now recycle, reuse resources within your space and become self-sufficient in energy provision. And then, of course, the softwares of the future are going to be cloud-based technologies that can help us install and deploy virtual machines for virtually everything that's possible. So it will become easier to be agile. If something happens, COVID kind of situation happens, within 24 hours, I could have our plans ready. We could roll into operations, a new protocol completely to respond. We will not be caught unawares. And most of the tools that we work with today will all be digitized. The evidence that the computer has done its job will not be by paper. The bidding process will not be by, everything can be done. Even auctions now are electronically done. So the workplace is going to evolve. And as the workplace evolves, we as facility managers must begin to think of the workplace beyond the four walls of our offices and spaces where we work. Because the moment a worker that you are caring for is not in one space and it's in another space to work, because his work can now move with him because of online and mobility solutions that we now have, the FM job must also extend beyond the four walls of the workplace. You start thinking about how to get into the IT space where those mobility solutions are deployed to ensure that that worker productivity is ensured, because that is facility management. Facility managers must have a clear means of tracking what they do, reporting, key performance indicators, service level agreements, compliance. I can say this is, stretching out of my data for exploration before, but this is unique on its own. Being able to create reporting mechanism that actually help you count value so that you can show value, so you can trend value. So whatever tool, there's so many. You can have, a presence checkout that helps you identify where workers are, how many hours they spend on specific tasks, and those data are gathered. You can have a system of scanning devices to impute the cost of everything that goes into it, labor, material that goes into it, and that's gathered. You have meters everywhere that tracks information on how energy efficiency is improving and so on. That information is gathered, and so on and so forth. So that when you want to show that, oh, I had this 10 million naira budget, this is how I spent it. I can also have the data to show what improvements I made in the spending process. So FM is no longer bolts and nuts. You must have the means to collect and analyze data in every aspect of what you do. I want you to be deployed and so many solutions that we want to adapt to. These are just a summary of my, views on the competencies that you need to be successful as a facility manager. Thank you. I'll take a few questions. Let me open the audience's mics and meet everybody so that I can have some quiet while doing the presentation. If you want to ask a question, feel free to signify by raising your hand on the Zoom app. If you are in the facility management training group on WhatsApp, please also feel free to ask questions there. If you are on YouTube, feel free to ask your questions there. We will definitely respond. Facebook, same thing. LinkedIn, same thing. Okay, we'll always keep in touch with you. If you go to LinkedIn and you search for Paul Erubami, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm a very, very passionate networker. And I communicate, solve problems on a daily basis, for a living. If you want to engage in WhatsApp chats, I can give you my number. For chats only, you will get my response every day, but it may not be immediate. I guess some people send me a message like, I don't want to respond. No. Right? So there's so much I have to get through in a day. So you'll get a response the same day. 080 220 20122. So that's 080 220 20122. That's the number you can get to me on WhatsApp only, please. No calls. No calls. I think somebody tried to call me, and the person was even calling on. Video call. I was like, how do you even expect me that I've not been able to take a normal call? I'm still responding to chats to take a video call on WhatsApp. So please chats, very helpful to be able to understand ourselves. Okay, so that's our lesson for today. Don't forget that my 100,000 naira special uh, bonus for those who are taking the FA Mastercraft on full payments is expiring tomorrow. Today and tomorrow. Well, it's today 31st. No, tomorrow. See how it's tomorrow. And then the class starts on Monday for the virtual program. Those who are joining the physical class, they start on Saturday, but they're also entitled to join every class on Monday. Tell all of your friends the Monday's first class is open to everybody in the world. Everybody in the world. So we're going to share the link to the first class holding on Monday on all of our social media platforms today. Many of you will get it from newsletters, emails from us. Uh, we use that day to just walk you through the entire program, the structure of the program. It's really our facilitators, our fantastic facilitators, all 13 or 14 of them on that day. And then we'll give you an insight into the various courses you'll be covering in 3 months. So that's why we open it to everybody. So whether you've enrolled, you've not enrolled, an alumni, a friend, that you want to invite, pull everybody into that session on Monday. Look out for the link to the session on all of our social media platforms. Thank you, as I look forward to seeing you all on Monday by 5 p.m. And then afterwards, every Thursday, you have me here by 1 p.m. And if you're in the FA Mastercraft Diploma Program, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays by 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. are virtual classes during the week. And on Saturdays, it's 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., repeating everything we've covered during the week for those in the physical class, here in the Unila Campus Training Center. Until I come your way again next week, it's bye-bye and have a good rest of the week. The next scheduled class, starting on Monday, February 3rd, that's the FMMC. But if you're asking about the free sessions that I hold, is every Thursday by 1 p.m. Okay. Just go to maxmigold.com/promo and you'll see the page for registration. maxmigold.com/promo and you can register. Okay. I've just typed it in the search, in the chat, so you can just click on it and go there. All right, I hope you've had a good time. You learned something from this session. I look forward to see you again next week. Bye.